Well, Donald Trump is now a convicted felon. Trump is also still the favorite to be the next president of the United States. But the former US president has been found guilty of 34 counts of falsifying business records to cover up a hush money payment to a porn star, making him the first former US president to become a convicted felon. The unanimous verdict from the 12-person jury ends a 6-week trial in which prosecutors accused Trump of orchestrating an illegal conspiracy to influence the 2016 presidential election. Now, Trump will have a criminal record as he seeks to become president again. Trump and his team, though, reacted quickly to the trial's outcome. In fact, he declared he's a political prisoner in a fundraising email that was sent just moments after the verdict, although he was not jailed, as you're well aware. It now falls to Justice Juan Merchan to determine Trump's sentence. The judge scheduled the sentencing for July 11th, just 4 days before the Republican National Convention is set to begin.
This was a disgrace. This was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt. It's a rigged trial, a disgrace. They wouldn't give us a venue change. We were at 5% or 6% in this district, in this area. This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. But the real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people. And they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here.
Well, what happens next? Well, Mitch McCann joins us live from New York at the moment for further clarity. Mitch, thanks so much for joining us on the World 24/7. Now, falsifying business records carries a maximum sentence of 4 years in prison. But because the crime is non-violent and Trump has no prior convictions, any prison time is far from guaranteed. What can one expect at this stage?
Well, most legal experts and scholars here in the United States who have been speaking about this issue say it's most likely that Donald Trump will actually get a fine for this. But Judge Merchan, as you say, can sentence him to probation or prison or anything he likes. Donald Trump could go to jail for up to 4 years as a result of this. But as I say, that's very unlikely. This trial lasted more than 6 weeks, about 6 weeks and 4 days. And in the last few hours, the United States citizens really were on the edge of their seats as they watched this unfold. Many people around the world from many countries like India watching this unfold as well, really gobsmacked that a United States former president could be convicted of crimes. Donald Trump now a convicted felon, today found guilty of 34 counts of falsifying business records to cover up hush money payments to the porn star Stormy Daniels. And prosecutors always said throughout this trial it is more serious because Donald Trump did that, conducted this hush money scheme to influence the 2016 presidential election. Donald Trump has always denied this. You've just heard the clip from him there where he said this was a disgrace. It was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who is corrupt. He says the real verdict will be at that election on November 5. One really interesting point to note that in the last few hours we've found out that Donald Trump will be holding a press conference at Trump Tower in about 13 hours from now. We have no idea what Donald Trump is going to say, although we can guess it might be along the lines of what we've just heard, that he's very unhappy about this.
Well, we do look forward to what that press conference reveals. But as per legal experts, as Mitch is reporting, Trump is likely to get a fine for this. But Mitch, Trump is certain to appeal the verdict, right? A process that could likely take many months or many years. But is this likely to reap political benefits for Trump? In fact, we are seeing reports of Trump's fundraising site crashing after an influx of donors following this guilty verdict.
Yeah, that's right. Well, there's two really schools of thought about this. There are some people who think that it could destroy his campaign, and there are others that think it could really galvanize the right, that is the right on the political side, to really vote for Donald Trump. As you mentioned tonight, Donald Trump's fundraising website has broken down because so many people have been going to that website. There's been a poll conducted by the radio broadcaster NPR here in the United States about this exact issue. And what they found is that 60% of voters said they wouldn't change their mind, or they would not consider changing their mind based on a potential guilty verdict in this case. So it seems the majority won't be swayed, but Donald Trump may find some support here if his fundraising website is anything to go by.
Well, legal scholars seem to agree that Trump's New York felony conviction can't stop him from becoming president if the voters put him back in office. But the Constitution imposes very few prerequisites for the presidency. What is the path going ahead for Trump in the next few months ahead of the election?
Well, once he gets past the sentencing, depending on what that will be, the path will be clear for Donald Trump to campaign. Even though he's been convicted here, there is some good news for him, you could say. It means he's not stuck in a courtroom in the coming days and weeks. He can actually get out and campaign against Joe Biden. As you mentioned, there are very few requirements for someone running for office. You have to be over 35 years old. You have had to be born in the United States, and you have had to have lived here for the last 14 years. That's basically it. There is nothing that says if you have a conviction that you can't run for the presidency. So he will be able to run. And get this, if he was sentenced to jail, he could still be the president from behind bars. Now, we know that's unlikely, but that is possible.